What's up everyone, this is FP Sticks bringing you some Go Battle League battles here in the Ultra League. Katie and I are on vacation with our family in Hawaii still, but I prepped some videos ahead of time so you're still able to get content while I'm on vacation. Today we're going to be featuring a really strong meta team of Jellicent in the lead, and then Nidoqueen and Scrafty behind it. These are very powerful Pokemon in the open Ultra League, and in my own battles in Ultra League, I have run into this team many times, so I decided to run it for myself for a couple sets. So let's jump right into these battles here. I have a Jellicent against a Como-O, and now I know that Como-O is a fighting and dragon type. It is running Dragon Tail as the fast move, so it's able to hit for neutral damage against this Jellicent, and it is going to spam out these Dragon Claws. I also know that it has access to close combat as its other move, so I do need to be mindful of that. I was hoping to potentially catch a close combat on my Nidoqueen, but that did not work at all. My opponent was really smart and they saved their energy there. I go straight for the Earth Power, and my opponent is now 2 shields down. They led Como-O, which is double weak to Charm, and then here's a Steel type in the back being the G-Fisk, so really nice pairing there. I just totally let that go, and I'm hoping that my Scrafty up shields can potentially win this game for me. I'm thinking there might be a Registeel in the back, but I need to save a shield for a potential close combat from that Como-O. Now, unfortunately, this G-Fisk is going to get to another Earthquake, so I do have to shield this up. They swap their Como-O in right there, and it has a lot of energy stored still. Now I'm shields down, so if it is a Registeel in the back, there's pretty much no way that I can win this. My opponent played really well with the aggressive swap. Tried to catch a close combat, and once again my opponent did not take the bait. They continue to farm, and now they're able to land a Dragon Claw on me. If there is a Registeel in the back, I'm most likely just going to get farmed all the way down, and then that's really rough for me. And there it is. So Como-O, double steal, really cool team comp for my opponent, and they played it really well. Good game. Jellicent into what I'm assuming to be a Charm, Alolan Ninetales. Yeah, so this is a pretty good, pretty neutral matchup, honestly. I want to try to throw my Shadow Ball on the CMP tie of this Psyshock to guarantee that no extra charms go through, and I do correctly predict that they throw right at 8 charms, which is the CMP tie. They no shield that. I had to shield the first move, otherwise it would have been charmed down, and people that lead a Charmer most likely are going to have a really solid answer to Nidoqueen in the back, so I'm a little bit concerned if I don't get alignment, this could be pretty rough. I barely survived that Weather Ball, and I am able to get to this Shadow Ball. I'm either going to win the lead here or have a shield advantage, so they do let me have the lead. Out comes Nidoqueen, and this is like the worst case scenario that I could see in the back here, because now I have to bring my own Nidoqueen. I'm down a shield. I was hoping that they would go for the bait, but they went straight for the nuke, and in the back is a Giratina. Even though Scrafty has a favorable alignment here, it's not looking great. You need 2 foul plays to knock out this Giratina, so potentially a misplay here on my part. I was hoping that I could double power-up punch, and then that would be enough for the foul play to KO, but I still have a full health Nidoqueen to deal with, so I was trying to come up with a scenario where I can win this game, but I already know that my opponent is just going to save their shield for their Nidoqueen, and they already have this game wrapped up. Because you need 2 foul plays to knock out this Giratina regardless, so those power-up punches were essentially wasted energy. The Nidoqueen is never going to shield this foul play because they know that the Earth Power is way more threatening, so very well played to my opponent. Starting out rough in this video, but we do pick up some wins as we start to get more comfortable with the team. Swampert in the lead. This is another fairly neutral matchup here. The Swampert can go for Earthquake and the Jellicent can go for Shadow Ball. You do outpace the Swampert on the first cycle of the Earthquake, but if they go straight Earthquake, they will outpace you by 1 turn on the second cycle. Now, if they bait here, this is so unfortunate because the matchup swings in their favor a little bit. They tried to catch on Wall Rain though. I maintained my energy, and I'm going to go into Scrafty, throw 1 power-up punch, and attempt to farm down here. Swampert in the lead is not going to appreciate boosted counter damage from Scrafty. So they do go for the Icicle Spear. Sometimes the Wall Rains go for the Earthquake on the first move because it's unlikely that the Scrafty will shield it. So have to no shield this, unfortunately. They do go for the Earthquake. Nice play, but I'm able to farm down. If the Swampert comes in, it's going to eat a lot of counter damage here. I commit to trying to go for the foul play so they do not get tempted to farm me down. I have a loaded Jellicent. I'm going to throw the Shadow Ball immediately. I need to guarantee that my Nidoqueen does not have to see the Swampert here. They do end up shielding. Now at this point I'm thinking that there might be a Trevenant in the back, so I will shield up this Earthquake. And I want to overfarm a little bit here, because if there is a Trevenant in the back, I need to guarantee that I can outpace the Shadow Ball. And the prediction was correct. It is in fact a Trevenant in the back, so the slight overfarm there against the Swampert was really beneficial. I'm going to be able to survive this Seed Bomb and reach this Shadow Ball. This does not one-shot the Trevenant, but it does do a lot of damage. I can safely bring in my Nidoqueen and Poison Jab it down there. Good game. Jellicent into Walrein. Pretty favorable matchup, but it's actually kind of ridiculous that in the 2 shield, Walrein can really hang with this matchup, despite hitting resisted damage with the Powder Snows the entire time. That's just how crazy good Walrein is. Earthquake, even though it's a non-stab move on Walrein, is a pretty powerful move. So I will throw another Shadow Ball here. I need to guarantee that my Nidoqueen does not have to face this Walrein. I'm assuming that they're going straight Earthquake here, so I will commit my second shield as well. Now I should have recognized at this point that they're obviously weak to Jellicent in the back. So this could mean there could be a Talonflame in the back, there could be a fighter of some sorts, there could be their own Nidoqueen. But I was just too slow to make that realization in the moment, and so I allow my Jellicent to get way too low of health here. And now I'm not going to have use against it in the back. They bring out a Mandibuzz here, so I store a Bubble Beam and then swap into my Nidoqueen. But arguably I should have gone into my Scrafty here. They do have a Cresselia in the back, so they are double weak to Jellicent. Maybe they don't have Grass Knot here. I do get the defense fell on that Earth Power, which is good for me. But they do actually have Grass Knot. So I'm going to throw another Earth Power and do as much chip damage as possible. I still have that Mandibuzz I need to deal with though. This is going to take me out. I have a Bubble Beam stored. But this match has gone on for a very long time. And once again, I'm not aware in the moment that this match is most likely going to go to timeout. They kept their Cresselia alive, which was a smart play. I'm going to go for a Bubble Beam here. This is kind of a dumb play, because they can just farm me down now. They're going to get so much energy. This is stalling the clock even more. I should have stayed in with my Scrafty and started ramping up the counters, because now this Mandibuzz is going to throw an Aerial Ace to stall the clock. They can easily make the swap into their Cresselia to clear their debuff. And then they're going to have all this energy stored to threaten my Scrafty late game. I see the timer coming up there, and I know at this point it's pretty much over. Another misplay. I should have committed to the foul play here because it would have done more damage, but they're going to be able to get this Aerial Ace off regardless. And right at the buzzer, my opponent is going to be able to take this game. Very well played to my opponent as well. I have to admit, Ultra League is probably, like Open Ultra League is probably one of my worst leagues because I just tend to not play it nearly as much. But I will be producing some more Ultra League content while I'm away on vacation for my own benefit, to try to work on some teams and get better in my play, but also because I don't typically feature a lot of Open Ultra League on this channel, it'll be a good opportunity to do so. I have my Scrafty locked against this Walrein, which is always a favorable scenario there, and I want to leave this ramped up with a little bit of energy. They bring in the Nidoqueen, totally fine by me. I'm able to get to this boosted foul play. This is going to do a significant amount of damage to the Nidoqueen. We have very favorable alignment here. In the back is their Scrafty. I have my Nidoqueen for it. Things are looking good, and at that point my opponent concedes the match. Very RPS in my favor. Okay, Clefable in the lead. Again, if you see a Charmer in the lead, it's great that Scrafty gets to avoid it, but they're most likely going to have a hard counter to Nidoqueen in the back. as well as Registeel. So Swampert makes sense to have that sort of pairing. I have to shield this up. Luckily it was a CMP tie, so no charm snuck through. Now, if they let this go, okay, this is kind of an awkward scenario for me. I am able to get to a Shadow Ball here, which is nice, but I need to guarantee that my Scrafty gets aligned with this Giratina. Giratina is the solid response to Nidoqueen, but I still have a feeling that they might have a Swampert in the back. So this is another scenario where my Scrafty play is just not great. I get way too greedy in this matchup. I should be throwing the foul play a little bit sooner because I need to see where they want to expend their shield. This is a Dragon Breath Giratina, so it's really chunking away at neutral damage. By the way, my Scrafty is hardly XL'd at all. It is, in fact, a Hundo Scrafty. You can see my IVs on the screen there. Same with my Nidoqueen. I don't have the best IV spreads on a lot of my Ultra League Pokemon. It's a Deoxys in the back. That's really, really rough for me. This Psycho Boost from Deoxys is going to do so much damage. I was hoping that they would bait with Thunderbolt or Rock Slide on the first one. I am completely wrong. And at this point, there's essentially no win condition, because I still have that Giratina that I need to deal with. And these Psycho Boosts are hitting for so much damage. They're able to get to another one here, which I should be able to survive, but that Giratina is still way too healthy. They're able to clear their debuff, and my opponent takes that game. Good game. Tough battle so far in this video, but we finally start catching our stride, I promise. Talonflame in the lead, really good for us. Out comes a Beware. Oh my gosh, Beware Safe Swap is kind of a core breaker against a lot of the typical Pokemon in this meta. Has play against Walrein, has play against Trevenant, has good play against Giratina. Actually a really cool pick that I am kind of thinking about running now. I might need to build my Beware and give this a shot, but because they drew a shield in that matchup. So really nice play there. Talonflame lead with a Beware swap, baits out my Scrafty. Most likely they're going to have something else in the back that is weak to fighters, and the Beware was there to bait it out. So I'll bring in the Jellicent again. I know this is most likely a Brave Bird. They do go for the Brave Bird, nice play, and it's a Greedent in the back. So I'm going to go for a Bubble Beam before I go into my Nidoqueen here, just to drop this Greedent's attack. And then I'm just going to go straight Poison Fang as quickly as I can get them to try to ramp up chip damage here. I know that the Talonflame is essentially energy dry. They still have a shield, so I'm trying to think about where they're going to spend that shield. Potentially on one of these Poison Fangs that are debuffed a little bit. They go for another Body Slam. Out comes the Talonflame. I knew they were energy dry. I threw 2 Poison Fangs, or 2 Poison Jabs, and then this Fang for optimal move timing. And then I swap into my Jellicent to catch this Flame Charge. At this point, I can commit to hexing this down. And once again, I can go straight Bubble Beam on this Greedent. And this is a long, drawn-out matchup of debuffs here. The Greedent is really trying to commit to the farm down on the Jellicent here. It is running Bullet Seed, which is hitting for super effective, but this is just doing hardly any damage. I survived the Body Slam with a sliver of health and am still able to get off a move here, which is absolutely insane. Out comes the Greedent once again, and I let that go through. And able to get to this Poison Fang and take that game there. Really cool team from my opponent there. Well played. Jellicent into Swampert. If they bait, this matchup becomes awkward, and since it is a Shadow Swampert, obviously Earthquake is going to be much more threatening. Now, there always is a case to be made. You could potentially bait that first move, especially against Shadow Swamperts, but it feels so bad if they call your bait. So I know I'm going to get outpaced to this Earthquake here. I like the way that my opponent is playing this matchup. They're just going straight Earthquake, knowing that they can take it to the 2 shield. So I went for the Hex Sneak, and I do end up shielding both those moves. They let the Swampert go down, and they're going to take the shield advantage. This is just a Hydro Cannon, but man, Shadow Swampert put in so much work against my Jellicent there. Do they have a hard counter to this? They bring out a Trevenant, okay. And then they tried to catch on Walrein. So I now know that there's a Trevenant in the back. I'm feeling good. I can store a Shadow Ball and then go into Scrafty. I'm going to commit to farming this all the way down. Then I'll have a Foul Play loaded for the Trevenant, and I still have a full health Nidoqueen to deal with that Trevenant as well. So things are looking pretty good for us. Going to throw this Foul Play. The Trevenant cannot farm down, and they know that it's pretty much a good game there. Good game. Jellicent into Talonflame. We definitely want to keep this aligned with the lead here. Now, oftentimes the Talonflames just go for a Brave Bird and then they swap out. Sometimes I shield it. I have been shielding it the majority of the time. Out comes Walrein. So I'm going to throw one Shadow Ball and then most likely make a swap to my Scrafty here. I get the shield back, which is really good for me. I can go for this Power Up Punch immediately. And again, I want to try to set myself up in a scenario here where I can leave this ramped up with a little bit of energy stored to threaten that Talonflame. I do not want to have to shield this matchup. They go for Earthquake, totally fine. I will throw a Power Up Punch here because I don't want to get hit by another move. Now this is a tough health range for the Talonflame to deal with. I time my move so terribly there. So terribly. I needed to throw one counter before. I would have been able to get to 2 Foul Plays here if I would have played that a little bit cleaner. So very unfortunate. Their shield's down though. I have energy stored. I know I have a Bubble Beam stored, so I will throw this immediately. And they ended up not throwing, which was a big surprise to me. So I'm just going to catch this move on Nidoqueen. I catch a debuffed Brave Bird. In the back is a Trevenant. So we're looking pretty good here. I just need to get to 2 Poison Fangs. Now Trevenant does win CMP, but I snuck a Poison Jab through there. I'm actually going to let this go and allow my Jellicent to clean up the game. So I will let the Seed Bomb go through. They still have the Talonflame that I need to deal with. I do have to shield this. And then I'm just going for the Shadow Ball here. I don't want that Shadow Claw damage to register. Out comes the Talonflame, and we're able to hex it down and take that game there. One more battle for the video, folks. Another Talonflame lead. Thank goodness Jellicent is picking up some leads here. So once again, I go for the sneak. They go for the Brave Bird immediately. I will shield it. And out comes a Walrein once again. I'm going to chip this with a Shadow Ball and see what they want to do. It's always great when they shield that. I'm able to get my shield back and maintain positive alignment. I'm going to throw Power Up Punch immediately once again. And I'm trying to keep track of their energy here. I know that Earthquake plus Icicle Spear is pretty much going to be lethal. And so I don't want to have to mess around with that. I will throw another Power Up Punch. And my Scrafty is still healthy enough. They actually end up shielding that, which I was very surprised by. At this point, I'm going to let it go. Because Jellicent up a shield paired with Nidoqueen, that's a pretty strong core. They're only able to get to an Icicle Spear here, thank goodness. I'm thinking maybe it's a Trevenant in the back. They bring out their Talonflame to force me to expend some energy, but I was making a read that this has got to be a Trevenant in the back. They need a good Swampert answer. So I'm going to go for a Bubble Beam here, which is kind of dumb because it doesn't even knock out the Talonflame, so kind of a bad play on my part. I do shield up the Brave Bird though, and in the back is the Trevenant. We're going to be able to get to this Shadow Ball, and then Nidoqueen can easily clean up. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you appreciate the content, and I will catch you all in the next video.